Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spell Connection with my retro review of Hollow Man. Now you might be asking yourself, what the hell is Hollow Man? And why are we talking about it? Well, Hollow Man was a 2000 sci-fi horror I don't want to say retelling, but a sci-fi horror movie that basically was The Invisible Man. And yes, there is a new Invisible Man movie coming out this week, so Hollow Man. So Hollow Man was directed by Paul Verhoven, best known for RoboCop, Total Recall, Starship Troopers, Basic Instinct, and infamous for Showgirls. And starred as the Invisible Man, basically, Kevin Bacon, and then as well as Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin as the lead cast. So, some quick thoughts. It's honestly a decent sci-fi horror movie. I think it could have been better if it weren't for the fact that it kind of strays a bit too quickly into slasher movie territory, but it does. The visual effects, and this is actually the big thing to me, is that the visual effects are, well, some of them at least, some of them are really dated, but at the same time, the concept of what they're trying to pull off with them is interesting enough. So it's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, these aren't good effects anymore, but what you're trying, hey, good effort on what you're trying to, put across here. And to be fair, it's solid cast and directing. So, this is not a bad movie. Not a great movie, but it's not a bad one. So the cast of note, you've got Kevin Bacon as Dr. Sebastian Cain. He's an arrogant molecular biologist heading up the invisibility project for the Pentagon. Even before being turned invisible, he's a dick. He is just an absolute dick. He's arrogant. There's a point early on where one of the members of the group says to him, jokingly says, Dr. Kane, this is God. What you're doing is unnatural. Blah 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 blah. And Kane just says, "How many times am I going to tell you? I'm God." And it's what kind of thing where it does come off as he kind of means it. Next up, we got Elizabeth Shue as Linda McKay, another scientist working on the Invisibility Project. She's also the ex-girlfriend of Dr. Kane, and she's also dating one of the other scientists involved in the project, Matt Kennington, who we'll get to in a second. She's kind of the voice, kind of to a degree, at least tries to be the voice of reason, and very much the film's heroine. Next up, we got Josh Brolin as Matt Kennington, who's also involved in the Invisibility Project. He is McKay's current lover. Also tries to be a voice of reason type. Next up, we get Kim Dickens as Sarah Kennedy. She's a veterinarian who's overseeing the animal testing for the project. And she's very vocal in her disapproval of how the animal testing in general is being done. Then we got Greg Grunberg as Carter. He's EMT on the project. Kind of a dude bro by current standards. Then we got Joey Slotnick as Frank Chase, who's one of the lab technicians for the project. And Mary Randall as Janice Walton, who is also a lab technician on the project. And I know that it's a very simple description for both of those two, but really that's a lot of that's most of what there is to say about them, character-wise. The thing is, though, they're actually portrayed in such a manner, though, that you can tell there's more to them than just what they do, but what they do is what's important. So they also it's also very clear they have a friendly that Walton and Chase have a very friendly rapport with one another. Just before the Kane is turned invisible, for example, Janice basically, says to Frank before it starts off, hey, if he dies though, his I call it dibs on his Porsche, and Frank seems to rebuke her at first. He's like, okay, yeah, like, hey, we should be. You think he's gonna say, we really shouldn't be divvying up the guy's stuff while he's, just down there and still totally alive. He says, now, oh, come on, the Porsche's mine. And they have a laugh at it. And throughout the movie, they're usually shown together, interacting together, and like I said, in a friendly manner. Disagreements actually seem congenial. Like, oh, we disagree on this one thing, but it's not a huge deal. There is not conflict between them. And finally, in the cast of note, we've got William Devane as Howard Kramer. He was Kane's mentor when Kane was in school. Now he works for the Pentagon and is in fact Kane's boss. He actually finds Kane's genius to be rather impressive for the moment. All right, so breakdown of the movie. We start off with this bit with a mouse being dropped into a maze, and then eaten by a large invisible carnivore. I think it was a gorilla. It was definitely a mammalian creature that ate the mouse. I think it was the gorilla because that was kind of the big deal when it came to, because of how the mouse is picked up, and the fact they made such a big deal about the gorilla having been invisible. So we then get to Kane, who is running simulations to try to revert something that's invisible to being visible again. But he's having problems, and then he has a breakthrough at like 4 a.m. Like, yeah, okay, it works. So he calls up McKay, tells her, and like, let's get everyone to the lab early tomorrow. We're gonna do this. Like, okay, all right. So they turn the gorilla visible, and Kane is very promptly shown to be an asshole. For example, he once the gorilla's returned to normal, he orders a vivisection on her, and the vet, whose name I actually literally forgot, Dr. Kennedy. Yeah, okay, Dr. Kennedy. Is like, whoa, hey, she's still having her recover. She's still coming to her some bit the fact that she's visible again, that she can see herself again, and you want to cut her open. And, he, like, yeah, I need to know the effects it had on her. And then, one of the others was like, he was just kidding. And so he's like, yeah, we'll do the vivisection next week. But, so they have a bit of a celebration because, hey, they did it, okay, they turned someone invisible and then made it visible again. So, yeah, oh, yeah. And so the next day, Kane, McKay, and Kensington go to the Pentagon to talk to Kramer and the rest of their bosses. And they're and McKay is about to say, hey, yeah, we managed to turn the gorilla visible again. We probably need to do some fine tuning on the process, but we figured out the basics. Kane was like, no, we haven't figured it out yet, but we're close. And he explains that hey, the second we tell them we can do it, we're gonna get cut out of the project. It's no longer gonna be our project. And so he talks them into moving forward with human trials on him. And it does come up that he probably wants to be the first one to be turned invisible. So they turn him invisible, and the process is very taxing and border, it does not look comfortable at all. And he basically just becomes an even bigger asshole. So after a few days, the idea is, okay, he'll be invisible for 3 days, then they'll return him to being visible. Well, they try, and it fails. So they kind of make a latex disguise of sorts, so that at a glance, at least he'd blend in. But after a while being cooped up in the lab, Kane escapes. And while out, he actually commits a rather heinous act, which shouldn't have come as any surprise, considering some of the other things he did earlier in the movie. And then eventually, especially once McKay and Kensington realize that that Kane has figured out how to trick everyone into thinking he's still there, but he's there, but when he's not. McKay and Kensington go to Kramer, tell him what's going on, and it was pretty clear that they're probably going to be in trouble the next day. However, what they don't know is that Kane followed them. And after they leave, Kane kills Kramer before he can pass along to anyone else what's happened. And then he returns to the lab and decides he's going to kill everyone, cover up what he's done, and basically just live out his life as an invisible man. Even stating at one point, the freedom. It's unbelievable the freedom you have once you don't have to look yourself in the mirror every morning. And he very quickly just wipes out everybody except for McKay and Kensington, though he does injure Kensington. And then when all's said and done, though, McKay we'll say indirectly kills Kane during a fight in the elevator shaft, as the lab itself is underground. So yeah. So anyways, the movie's ups and downs. Listen, you got a good cast, you got a decent story, and honestly, good directing by Verhoeven. So when it comes to the visual effects, the effects like the water, like if water or smoke or steam or something exposing the fact that Dr. Kane is there, those actually hold up pretty well. But the difference is that it's stuff we've seen in previous movies. So, and like I mentioned earlier, the ones that don't hold up, and I'll get into these in more detail in a little bit, have an interesting concept they're trying to convey. So that actually kind of does, to me, it's like, okay, yeah, your effects don't hold up that well anymore, but it was a neat idea, so props. It's like, it'd be like, doing the whole thing from Gladiator, if instead of, just like thumbs up or thumbs down, like, meh, half a thumb, halfway up. So on the downside, a lot of the cast were really a lot of the characters are very underdeveloped. But at the same time, they're performed well, and you at least get the idea that there are more to these characters than just what we see. And I think that's a problem that a lot of movies have, especially a lot of horror movies have anymore, is underdeveloped characters and just no that and without even giving the hint that there's more to a character. Any kind of anything from the past that gets referenced can still be related to something they're doing in this, and it's like it's one of the quirks that make it's being turned into a character, basically. Like I said, the CG did not age well. Now, the CG in question is generally for when the gorilla goes from being invisible to visible, and Kane going from being visible to invisible, as well as kind of showing off the damage that's done to him in the final in the film's finale. The stuff where it's like he gets burned and so like now he's got this burn, he's covered in burned invisible flesh that's visibly burned. That's actually one of those. Okay, you're not doing anything spectacular. But the transition effects from going from visible to invisible or vice versa, it's a neat concept because it's not just one of the. It's not just like a slow basically someone fading out of frame. It's you see the skeletal structure, the muscular structure, the organs, going, in the case of the gorilla, going from the veins, because it starts off, they inject the visibility serum into the gorilla's vein, and you see it go through the veins, and it's like, ooh, hey, wow, we're actually doing, wow, that, and it's one of those, they're dated now in 2020. And in 2000, they looked okay. Not great, but okay. But it's still just a neat concept that they pulled off. And so I got to give them props on that. The fact that the movie just kind of devolves into a slasher movie and after a while really starts to rely more on shock value than anything else is also kind of a detriment to it. So my overall opinion is that it's honestly a fairly entertaining sci-fi horror movie with a good cast, and interesting but dated effects. With that could have been better if it had not basically turned into an invisible slasher movie. But all in all, it's a fairly good Invisible Man movie. I would say not quite on par with Memoirs of an Invisible Man, but it's at least in the same ballpark. Rating wise, I would say it's a 3 out of 5. There's also a sequel which I've never seen. I know it exists, but I gotta say the visual of Kevin Bacon with basically like the latex makeup on and with holes cut in it, and you can see the inside of this makeup. It's like always like just holes for the eyes and a slit for the mouth. It's like, okay, it's actually really cool. Also, I'm going to from here on out just blame this movie for starting the whole drawing on your eyebrows thing because, well, when Kane tries to escape near the end, he does draw on eyebrows. But yeah, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with the comic book roundup, and later on this week we'll be reviewing Invisible Man. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the search box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.